Hi, this is Edie Nathan. I'm a psychotherapist here in New York City, and I know that there are lots of people out there living in New York, living in big cities, living in small cities, dealing with so much. Today, I'd love to share with you some exercises in dealing with anxiety. On Monday, we talked about um, just the anxiety that comes up and what we can do in terms of a breathing exercise. And so we're gonna talk about that today. But first, I want to know, how are you? How are you doing? What is going on in your lives? I've been getting so many responses, and some people are saying, I'm doing okay. I'm doing better than I thought I was going to do. Some other folks are saying, man, this is harder than I thought. Like, I didn't think that kind of this social isolation and social distancing would be hard on me, but it's harder than I thought. So for me, I have a dog. His name is Ziggy. And Ziggy's a dog that's got so much anxiety. Of course, I'd have to get a dog with anxiety. Do any of you have animals that have anxiety? Well, if you do, then you know what I'm talking about. So sometimes in the distance, there's ambulances and there's a shooting range not too far. And so I'm hearing guns going off. And Ziggy is running through the house, barking and crying and screaming and having a doggy panic attack. And unfortunately, I can't tell him to breathe. I can't say, okay, so just take in a breath, let it go. Take in another one of those really good breaths and let it go. And I realize that it's sometimes a frustrating and sad when we can't try to calm our animals, and our animals only have a certain level of understanding, even though they are amazing. So I'd love for you to write me. You can do it right now. If you've got an animal at home, how is that animal helping you? And another thought that's been discussed a lot lately. People are, if you don't have an animal, people are actually taking in dogs or cats, and they're bringing them into their homes and they're taking care of them. They're not really adopting them. They're just helping a lot of these uh, animal hospitals save these dogs and these cats from having their lives end. And so, these animals are orphans, and especially if you're living alone, maybe having an animal could be really, really helpful. So please let me know if you've got an animal and how that animal has helped you. And if you'd like to know more about these animal kind of adoption programs, let me know, and I can help you find places that are doing these programs. So I'd love to know what the hardest part of this is for you. And I'd also love to know what's making you laugh. So, so actually, I'm hearing right now, and this is making me laugh, that Jay's huge bloodhound gives and receives unconditional love, and role models calm, as always, in love and service. And our animals can absolutely do that for us. So just keep writing in. And I'd like to know, what's the hardest part of this right now? And if you do have an animal, what's making you laugh? What's bringing you joy? And are you able to take your dog out for a walk? Are you able to play with them? Are you able to maybe get to know them or spend time with them in ways that you haven't? So, uh, our dogs will sometimes also mirror our own anxiety. And that anxiety can just, when it gets mirrored, like we don't understand why our animals are upset, and maybe it's because we're upset. So if we calm ourselves down, guess what happens to our animals sometimes? They get to calm down. And it's wonderful when they get to calm down. So by calming yourself, you're also calming your animals. And that's very, very exciting to see a mirroring that's going on. And that mirroring can actually be a measure of what's going on for you. So when we're anxious, our animals can smell it, they can feel it, and they react to it. When we're calmer, they're calmer. Now, some animals, if they are rescues, and I don't know how many of you have rescues. Ziggy, my Ziggy, he's a rescue animal, and he came to us already anxious. We have given him all sorts of drugs. We've experimented with everything. We've landed on CBD oil, of course. And the CBD oil, 1,200 milligrams once a day, seems to really help. I'm not saying that this is what would work for you, but certainly going some natural ways in terms of breathing, in terms of talking to friends and chatting, reaching out, and feeling like you've got lifelines are really important. So yesterday, one of the things that we talked about was creating a plan. I'd like to hear from all of you. Did you create a plan? Are you working on a plan? Are you working on actually having something that you are geared to do today? Exercise at home, making a meal, talking to certain friends, doing a kind gesture. These are all ways that we can feel full, that we can feel alive, that we can feel, okay, I'm going to make it through this day. I'm going to make it through this day. So one of the wonderful anti-anxiety exercises that I love requires a rubber band, a simple rubber band. Yep. Now, yesterday I talked about my own anxiety and phobias. Let me tell you, this rubber band, not the specific rubber band, but a rubber band was one of my lifesavers. I know it sounds crazy. This is actually a wonderful exercise. So you put the rubber band around your wrist, just like this, okay? I happen to love the color purple, so I get purple rubber bands. They make me smile. And so this rubber band is put around your wrist. It's not meant to be tight, guys, okay? It's meant to be loose. And this exercise is not meant to hurt you in any way. There have been people who say, oh, Edie, I've been doing the rubber band exercise and now I've got a big red welt on my wrist. If that's happening, don't do it. That's not what this is for. You're not supposed to be experiencing any kind of pain with this. This is actually around changing your mind, changing your mindset. Okay. So you wake up in the morning and you are feeling anxious. Maybe your heart's pounding. Maybe your mouth is dry. Not because you haven't brushed your teeth, mind you. You're just feeling that anxious dryness. Maybe you feel a little sweaty. Maybe you're just thinking, all I want to do is put the covers over my head. I'm not going to even get out of bed. I don't want to face this day. Or maybe you've just turned on the news and you've become a newsmonger. Oh my God, I've got to know what's going on every moment, every second. Turn off the news. Let's change your brain. This is actually a biofeedback exercise. And biofeedback is all about how you change the brain. And your brain, believe it or not, in terms of changing anxiety and changing depression, changing the way that you're holding this unrest, it helps you actually regulate, re-regulate the brain, regulate the way you're holding on to things. So we've got the rubber band, right? And this rubber band, what you're going to do is you're going to think the negative thought. So all I want to do is stay in bed. And I want you to now imagine, what would your counter thought be to that? How would your cheerleader respond? How would your archetypal wild woman or good parent respond to this? I don't want to get out of bed. I can't get out of bed. I am just feeling crushed with all of this. Well, maybe the cheerleader, or, your wild woman, or your good parent, or your wild guy would say, actually, no, you're going to get out of bed because you're going to feel better once you take a shower, once you brush your teeth, you wash your face, and I'm going to make this day count. And so what you're going to do is you're going to have that first thought, which is, all I want to do is stay in bed. And you're going to say, stop it, and snap the rubber band. Stop it, and snap the rubber band. And then you're going to go to the cheerleader thought. And that cheerleader thought is, I'm going to make this day count by checking in with a friend, planning a meal, exercising, doing 10 push-ups, downloading a Pilates course free, or yoga, or I'm going to go outside and I'm going to keep my distance, but I'm going to go for a 10-block walk and walk home. So you're having the thought, you're saying stop it, and then you're giving yourself another positive thought to exchange one thought from the other. So it's, I don't want to get out of bed. Stop it. I'm getting out of bed and I'm making this day count by doing, and fill in the blanks. And sometimes when you do this exercise, stop it. I'm changing the thought. Washing your hands while you're changing the thought. We know that cooler water, and I know we're supposed to be washing our hands with warm water and soap, but this is not about the virus. This is about changing the thought. Just washing your hands with some cold water can also change a thought. So if you can get yourself to a sink, stop it, change the thought. This is what I'm going to do, and wash the hands, and see how you can make your day different, because you're its mastermind. You're the one who's in control. You're the one who can make it happen and make a difference more than you ever realize. You can do this. So I don't know if you're all familiar with The Wizard of Oz. I love The Wizard of Oz. I've actually done some writing on The Wizard of Oz, and if you are familiar with the story, you know, and if you don't know, so Dorothy is the main character, and she's kind of on this hero's journey, if you will. She goes from being this young girl and having an aunt and uncles who kind of take care of her, and she ends up in a maelstrom, in a tornado, and she ends up going into another land. And we are now kind of like Dorothy. We've left our ordinary lives, and now we're in this new land and new territory, and she's on an adventure. And she ends up, through a series of kind of happenings, having these red shoes that have power, but she doesn't know it. And she must go through a series of tasks, and we'll talk about those tasks at some point. But she's got these red shoes, and she learns much later on at the end of the story the power of the red shoes. And really, it was really about her own power. So I want you to seize your power. Know that you have the power of the red shoes through this very hard time, but also through this time that's curious, that can cause us to learn about ourselves in ways that we never thought, and can open us up to our truth, to our honor, and to ourselves. So thank you so much for all of your comments, and just a call out, a shout out to every single one of you, and be well. If you want to learn more about what I'm doing, please email me through my website, edinathan.com. Have a really curious day. And remember, stop it and change the thought. See you tomorrow at noon. Bye for now.